BRICS expansion is something that the Prime Minister spoke about?
See, the Prime Minister spoke about it, but he said that it should be with consensus when you talk about BRICS expansion. And of course, there are geopolitical concerns within the expansion itself. I think the Prime Minister is all for certain economies to be added into BRICS, but not certain economies that tend to have already failed economies, because that would be a drag on the grouping as such. But several African nations that are doing well are in fact trying to be part of the BRICS as well. Even in Latin America, we have always had Brazil representing Latin America, but there are very good economies as well. Some economies have improved in Latin America, which they are also trying to be part of it. And interestingly enough, there was an attempt to say that there should be some sort of common currency when it comes to BRICS. And of course, Russia always saying that de-dollarization is the big word that everyone is trying to see. You know, there's a whole group of countries, and even in BRICS, we are looking at some of these BRICS countries actually going ahead with de-dollarization, trying to settle trade deficits between each other when it comes to the trade deficits between them, from dollars to their own currencies and the currencies of the host countries from where they have taken the goods. So it is interesting to see that de-dollarization drive is very much part of the BRICS aspect, and this would, what they say, would challenge the dollar's hegemony on the world economy, and it's been a part of the BRICS agenda also on that front. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister also said that BRICS will break barriers and revitalize economies, is what he has said. Modi also lauded South Africa's focus on the global south. He also went on to say that the kind of reforms and also the kind of ideation that is required when it comes to the global south is to actually reflect the global south's realities as well. So that the Prime Minister has always been saying that. And apart from the BRICS, this thing, the Prime Minister also in fact proposed undertaking skill mapping, promoting mobility among BRICS countries and joint efforts for protection of big cats under International Big Cat Alliance. He also proposed establishing a repository of traditional medicines among BRICS countries. We're talking about the Chinese also have a traditional medicine. We have traditional medicines. The South Africans also have traditional medicines. So that is a new kind of a thing. So there are several of these aspects that have been put into place when it comes to BRICS. So that is the thing that we are in fact looking at.
And also Xi Jinping, you know, there was a report that, you know, there was a scheduling clash. Xi Jinping was given an abbreviated state visit as well over there.
See, that schedule clash is something that
because we're talking about India versus China on the in the space,
and India versus
Let's talk
China
about India versus China on Mother Earth as well.
On diplomacy also, I think.
Right.
So, yes, there was. You see, the Chinese have been trying to move into Africa for quite some time. They have had closer economic ties, trying to exploit resources, giving the scientific know-how to map resources, especially for mining. You're talking about gold, diamonds, bauxites, as well as other kind of minerals. They have been in fact trying to also ensure that copper is also taken into consideration, because when we look at a world that is going to be run probably on electric batteries, copper is going to become a crucial element along with lithium. So they are also looking at those factors. So China has been having a head start over there. India too has been leveraging its options, especially with its large diaspora in these African nations.
BRICS will break barriers, revitalize economies. This is coming in from Prime Minister Modi. BRICS will be breaking barriers, revitalizing economies, inspiring innovations, creating opportunities and shaping the future, says Prime Minister Modi. South Africa said after the second day of the summit, the leaders agreed to document which set out guidelines and principles, processes for considering countries that wish to become members of BRICS. With many developing countries looking at BRICS with renewed hope at a time of great global uncertainty, 23 countries have formally approached the grouping for membership. In his address, Chinese President Xi called for speeding up the expansion process, saying more members will make global governance more equitable. India, however, wanted BRICS to first finalize the criteria and guiding principles for extending membership, something the summit has actually continued to focus on. So it's going to be interesting to see. But now, today is the final day, it's final summit, and the Prime Minister is also expected to visit Greece let's not forget. He's on his way back. He's also going to be visiting Greece as well. So on the diplomatic front, it seems like India is making the right kind of strides.
Well, India is making the right kind of strides, and the diplomatic visit to Greece is also should be mentioned, because we are having deeper ties with Greece, we are having deeper ties with Armenia. As I said, Turkey, Azerbaijan and Pakistan have become an axis. So to counter that axis, we have been speaking with Greece as well as Armenia. Armenia, of course, we are selling them our defense products as well. With Greece, we are going to have a much more closer relationship, especially on the defense front. And that is because you know how Turkey has been behaving with our Kashmir question, and also has taken anti-India stands several times. And Greece and Turkey have been having an animosity for years together, though both of them have been members of the NATO grouping. So I think India is also keep using flexibility of its diplomacy to actually tell countries like Azerbaijan as well as Turkey that, you know, when it comes to our national interests, you better look into it.